Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. Jordan, we're back for EPL midweek action. We've also got a couple of big games in La Liga. We're going to be covering it all for you guys, and I'm going to give you a little preview. I've got a ton of plus money plays for you guys, so stick around if that's what you're into, baby. Here we go.
Martial, Herrera, Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch. Balotelli, Aguero!
Jordan, we're back. It's a midweek EPL slate. We've got every team in action, and some of these teams are used to playing twice a week, some of them not. You and I, we're used to it, Jordan. We're used to a Monday night podcast. We return for it. Thank you for stepping away from the Patriots so you could pod with me, brother.
Well, thanks, bro. There wasn't much to step away from, unfortunately, for the New York Football Giants to have a right battering for the number one seed Patriots. But we don't need to get into that, Dev. This is a different kind of football we're talking today, the game of soccer. And yeah, listen, we are used to going twice a week, but you wouldn't be able to tell by our record because we got cooked once again over the weekend, Dev, with our impromptu sort of post-Thanksgiving show. Yeah, more stoppage time goals, losing bets for us, more just bizarre performances from teams, really irritating stuff. Should we pull up the recap?
Let's do it, buddy. Results here. I went 3 and 4 minus basically a unit. You lost 2.5 units. Brutal for a combination of minus 3.39 units. And look, if you're new to the show, you're seeing that and you're thinking, why would I listen to these guys? Hey, you can always just fade our plays if you want to. But look, it's been an up and down season thus far. We start to get into this time period when we don't have any more international breaks. Pep Guardiola even said it. Now as the season begins. The season begins now. So we can hopefully turn this form around. It starts with this midweek, Jordan. And if you guys are joining us, if you're watching live, if you're listening to this later in a podcast app, please give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, share with your friends, and hop in here and tell us some of your plays on the live chat. It's always fun to hear listeners' reaction and hear what you guys are thinking as we break down some of these big games in the EPL. But let's get started, Jordan.
Well, Dev, I can tell you what someone named Montman is thinking about the show.
That's right. We got a review.
We do indeed, Dev. A 5-star review called Fun Show. So Montman thinks it's a fun show. Or maybe it's Montmand. Apologies if I'm butchering it. But it says, love the show, guys. I've listened enough times that I now find myself pronouncing Chelsea and Liverpool like Devin does. Keep up the good work. See, another nice review. You love to see it.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thanks, Montman. It's the only way to say Chelsea and Liverpool, and we will get to both of them. And Montman leaving us a 5-star review. We will always read out reviews on the show if you all would like to do that. Montman just got incredible karma for his bets this midweek. If he's listening, we do appreciate it, and best of luck with all your plays, brother. And let's dive into this thing, Jordan, because starting tomorrow, Tuesday, we've got quite a few matches. None more so than Fulham against Manchester City. This one sees Fulham as home dogs of 3/4 of a goal. The total is set at 2.75. Both teams to score, yes, minus 143. Looks like the bookies are thinking Fulham can get something here against this Man City side who have been letting in goals but getting results in the end of it. Jordan, what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, Dev, I was thinking about it. It's how crazy it is to be able to get this kind of a price on Man City, less than minus 200 on the money line traveling to Fulham. Such are the times, right? Things have changed, but I mean, rumors of Man City's demise greatly exaggerated, in my opinion. Look, they're second place. They're still very much in the title race as far as I see it, but they are vulnerable, right? Like they can be got at. Leeds just showed us that over the weekend. That if you don't show fear to this team, you can put them on the back foot and you can cause problems. They don't really have that physicality, that ball stopper in the middle of the pitch, right? With Rodri out. And I know he's one guy, but it makes a difference. And they don't really have that. Like if you take a look at Man City's team, it's all just kind of a bunch of flair players now for the most part. And then you have your back line, but there's not a lot of physicality. So they kind of can get bullied by teams that are going to be aggressive and come at them. I'm not sure Fulham is that team, though. They also have a lot of sort of finesse, smaller guys. We saw what they did to Tottenham over the weekend. Could have been up 3-0 in the first 15 minutes. That was wild. They blitzed them. I wonder if they'll try something similar here to the City team. So I stayed away from a side in this one, Dev. I decided to just stick with goals, and I like an over in this one. I like both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Coming in at plus 105, I think that's a fair enough price. I think probably City wins it, right? Probably 2-1, 3-1, something like that. But you never know. I didn't want to back them in this spot, but I double dipped, Dev, because my guy, young Friar Phil Foden, is he's coming back to form. He's given press conferences talking about how he's trying to score more goals. Pep's bigging him up again. He's looked excellent in every start that he's had for like the last month or so. So I'm taking him here because I think the price on him to score or assist at plus 145 is too big, Dev. He had 2 goals over the weekend. He's knocking on the door for some others, hit the post, 2 Prem matches back. So he's coming back to life, Friar Phil, who's only 2 seasons removed from being the PFA Player of the Year in the EPL. So, give me that. Plus 145, too big for Phil to score or assist. And Dev, knowing Pep, he probably won't even start. So if that happens, it'll be voided.
Yeah, well, you never know with Pep, right? This is an EPL game. He seems to stick with the same teams for the EPL. It's in the Champions League where he starts doing the Pep roulette, and you just have no idea who's going to be out there. Erling Haaland didn't score in the last game against Leeds, so he's due. You could throw him in there to score a goal. For me, Jordan, I just went with City to win the game. They've won 18 straight matches head-to-head against Fulham. Marco Silva has never gotten a single point from Pep Guardiola coach teams in his entire career. So is he really going to get something here? Of course, he's probably due for it as well. So famous last words.
Remember what happened to us with Man City and Eddie Howe, who had never beaten them just 2 weeks back.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens here. But the Man City moneyline price, I don't really want to lay. What do we have it on the screen? Minus 163. It's a little rich. So adding on 2.5 goals in the match, over 2.5 goals. That comes in at plus 125. So I like that price a lot. Man City and over 2.5. I thought it's similar to your play, Jord. You're going with the both teams to score and over 2.5. My fear is that there is a world where City wins at 3-0. Fulham doesn't get on the board. So that's why I ended up playing it that way. We have seen over 2.5 goals in 6 of the last 7 Man City games, with both teams scoring in 5 of those 7. Over 2.5 in 7 of the last 8 head-to-head meetings between these two. So hopefully some goals in the end, a City win, Fulham gets something on the board, and we can all go home happy. Let's move on, George, to another matchup on Tuesday, and it's Newcastle United against Tottenham Hotspur. This one sees Newcastle as home favorites, 3/4 of a goal on the Asian handicap. The total is set at 2.75. George, both teams to score, yes, minus 150 here. Newcastle on the money line, minus 138. Seems like a free hit because Spurs can't win games. What do you think about this matchup up in Tyneside?
Yeah, Spurs can't win games, certainly not at home. Much better on the road. Well, I say much better. That narrative's kind of getting a little overblown as well. Like, they're okay on the road. It's not like they win every road game. And also, Newcastle are a problem again, home and away. They've really become resurgent in recent weeks, and we always talk about how tough of an assignment it is to go to St. James's Park. So I elected to stay off of this one, Dev. I think you could probably play goals in it, but I didn't want to mess with the side. Didn't like that baby hook in there with the 2.75. I just don't know what to do with this one. How's Thomas Frank going to set up? Like, what's he doing? He's got a new lineup for every occasion. He's got a different formation. No wonder they can't get any cohesion going. So I stayed away from this one, Dev. What did you see?
Yeah, Jordan, I was wringing my hands for a while looking at this because I'm taking goals. I mean, the streaks for these teams are pretty crazy. Over 2.5 is hit in 5 straight Tottenham matches with over 2.5, 5 of the last 6 Newcastles across all competitions. Both teams are scoring in 5 of the last 6 for both of them as well. In these head to heads, 8 of the last 10 meetings have had both teams to score at over 2.5. And so that's where I ended up going, adding on both teams to score with the 2.5. The classic, as we call it, is plus 105. A little bit of plus money there. I like it. My worry here is that Tottenham don't get on the score sheet because I just don't find them threatening in front of goal. Now, that being said, they probably should have scored a couple against Fulham at home. But this Newcastle side, much tougher test than Fulham, particularly at St. James's Park, where we've talked about it a lot. They just bring a lot of energy from the crowd, and they blitz you, as you mentioned before, early on in the game, bringing lots of energy. They have tons of pace in the side. So this could be an up and down game, back and forth. These two teams did meet one another this season already in the EFL Cup. Let me take a look at that match. Yes, so this was back in October, the very end of October. Newcastle won at home 2-0 against Tottenham. Tottenham failed to put up 1 XG in that match, but the lineups are insane. Joao Palhinha is playing center back in that match. And Aaron Ramsdale, the backup keeper for Newcastle, was man of the match in that one. He had 6 saves. Bizarre game. I don't think that's going to happen again, so I'm happy to just take the goals here. I think we can get them from both ends. But I do think in the end of it, Newcastle probably wins the game. All that being said, I'm staying away. Spurs are on the road. The sky is falling for Thomas Frank if he doesn't get points here or some kind of result. He's on the hot seat through 18 matches this same time last season. I'm sorry, 14 matches, but this is week 14. Through 14 matches, he has 18 points. Last season, through 14 matches, Ange Postecoglou had 20 points. And he got fired. Everyone thought he was terrible, but he had a better record thus far. So what will happen at Tottenham, I don't know. Is the job too big for Thomas Frank? What do you think?
Is the job too big? I don't know. I don't know that it's too big. I think he's not really doing himself any favors. Like I commented about how, he's new to the team. He hasn't worked with this team for very long, but he's asking them to do very different things in each game. And it's all very different from what they were doing under Postecoglou. So I think he just needs to kind of go back to basics and find your best 11, stick to a formation that seems to get you the best results, and stop messing with it, man.
Stop messing with it, man. I hear you. Well, let's move on, Jordan. We are now taking you to the Wednesday games over in the Premier League, and it's Wolverhampton against Nottingham Forest. And this one sees Wolves as home dogs of 1/4 goal on the Asian handicap, plus 1/4 goal. Total is set at a low 2.25. Jordan, both teams to score yes, minus 125. Both teams to score no, minus 106. We have a new manager. Did not get a new manager bounce for Wolves over the weekend. And Sean Dyche failed me. I had them Forest on the pick, and they ended up losing 2-0 against Brighton, who are now in the top 6 of the standings. So what do you think about this matchup? Can Forest bounce back against the lowly Wolves? 7 straight losses for Wolves, by the way.
Yeah, Wolves still on 2 points. 2 points for the season. This is match 14 for them. It feels like it's too easy here, right? You could take Forest minus 1/4 on the handicap. Wolves don't win games. In fact, they just lose games. You can get Forest on the money line, plus 125. But Dev, it feels like a trap to me. Wolves are going to win a game at some point. And I don't know if it comes in this one necessarily. I took them over the weekend plus 1 on the Asian handicap. That pushed out for me. They lost 1-0 to Aston Villa. That was on the road. Villa are in great form right now, so fair enough. But maybe they're starting to click a little bit more. You said they got the new manager. Well, didn't get a new manager bounce, but maybe signs of improvement here. Coming home, are the fans going to kind of get behind them and be like, come on, give us a little bit of a bounce here? We'll see. You're right. Until the kind of bizarre result against Brighton, who just do that to us all the time. this Brighton team. We'll get to them. Don't worry. But
I can't get them right.
yeah, it's so annoying. Yeah, the Forest were going well right before that. So maybe that was just a little blip and they get back to it. But I had to stay away from this one, Dev. I could see too many outcomes and it feels trappy to me.
Yeah, I hear you on all that, Jordan. This is also a Midlands derby, something to keep in mind. But Forest, if they had won the game against Brighton, I probably would have stayed off of this. But I just think they're too talented. I like Sean Dyche a lot as a coach. He should be able to get in here and get a win. I mean, Wolves, you're right, look more organized under manager's name, Rob Edwards. More organized defensively, but they didn't threaten at all against Villa. I don't think they're going to threaten much against Forest. You know, Forest lost 2-0. That scoreline's a little bit flattering for Brighton. They had a really nice goal. Forest had a ton of chances, just couldn't put them away. And then at the very end, they're just chasing that goal and they stoppage time, give up a really stupid back pass, and they end up scoring a second. Brighton, that is. So I still believe in this Forest team. I'm just going to take them to win the game on the money line here, Jordan, plus 125. Everything you said is making me nervous. I'm gonna be honest. 7 straight losses for Wolves. No wins in 9. No goals scored in 4 straight matches. No clean sheets in 9. We've also seen in these head-to-heads, Forest have not lost in 6 straight meetings. We also seen a lot of unders, so I could see this being like a 1-0 type of thing. Hopefully that's all we need to cash it. So that's what I'm banking on here. Forest on the money line, plus 125. Is this the game Wolves get a point? They're at home, Midlands derby. There's definitely some signs there. But I still think this Forest team is better. They're used to playing twice a week. I'm willing to back them here on the money line, Jordan.
Dev, for the trivia, do you know who the last team Wolves beat was? It was in a cup. Take a wild guess.
Is it in the EPL?
Yes.
Okay. A wild guess. I'm going to say it's Burnley.
Nope. West Ham United.
Oh,
big surprise.
Yeah. Well, you're West Ham, Jordan. We getting to them later? We're getting to them later. Awesome. Well, we were talking a lot about Brighton and Hove Albion against Aston Villa. This one sees Brighton as home favorites of a quarter of a goal, minus 0.25. The total is set at 2.5. Jordan, you get plus money any way you go on the 3-way money line here. Brighton plus 115. Villa plus 240 on the road, and the draw at plus 250. What did you see here, Jordan? Because I ended up staying away from this one.
Well, that's probably smart, Dev, because it is a Brighton game after all. They've become
and
a bogey
Villa game.
team.
I haven't gotten either of these teams right all year.
Yeah, they have both been bogey teams for the podcast. Brighton especially, because I'm constantly talking about how I think they're smoke and mirrors, they're fraudulent, but they keep getting results. And, you know, I guess at some point I'm going to have to just hold my hands up and say I was wrong. We'll see. A lot of season left, but Dev, I didn't mess with the side in this one. I don't want to mess with either of these sides. I'm just going to take the total where it's lined at over 2.5. Not often do we see just the flat 2.5 anymore in the Prem. And I'm taking that. I'm kind of surprised it's lined that way because however you want to look at it, especially head-to-head data, we're seeing goals when these teams meet. And the over 2.5 line is cashing the majority of the time. And for both of these teams in recent weeks, we're seeing goals. Not necessarily, and there's been clean sheets in them too. So I didn't want to mess with the both teams to score there either. Thought about getting tempted with some plus money, but no, fair enough for me. Over 2.5 at minus 115. I just see more of the same for these teams. I could see either team winning it. I could see either team keeping a clean sheet and putting 3 or 4 past the other. I don't want to mess with who's doing what. Just give me goals. Can we do that?
I hope so for your case, Jordan. I hope we can because this Villa team has really low scoring games. Seems like every time I look up, it's like 1-1, 1-0, 2-0. So
well,
I would be
entirely true recently.
But they have been in great form, right? 5 wins in a row for Villa. And they've crept up to 4th in the table. In the table. Yeah, I had no idea that they were coming that way. And Brighton in fifth. So these two teams back to back in the standings. Hopefully it's a fun one. Hopefully it's fireworks end to end. I just can't get them right, George. So, I hope I'm wrong once again here.
Yeah, fair enough. Just to say that in this win or this run of 5 wins, they have been seeing more goals scored. There was just the 1-0 against Wolves, was kind of a weird result, but they had a 2-1 in the Europa League. They had a 2-1 with Leeds, 4-0 thumping to Bournemouth. So maybe they're kind of getting their goal scoring form back. And Brighton, of course, we talked about them already. But the head-to-heads love it, Dev. Over 2.5 goals, 6 of the last 7 meetings, both teams scoring 5 of the last 7. Not seeing
Brighton
a lot
are
of
certainly
corners.
good for it. Brighton are good for it. Seems like all of their games see BTTS at least. George, let's move on. Another matchup on Wednesday, and it's Leeds United against Chelsea.
There it is.
This one sees Leeds as home dogs of 3/4 of a goal plus 0.75. The total is set at 2.5. George, Chelsea down to 10 men, lose Moises Caicedo against the Arsenal, and still pulled off the 1-1 draw, which was I think you and I both cashed in that game. You had the outright draw, and I had the first half under 1, so we both had a little cash there. That was one of the few things we did get right. And then Leeds had a thriller against Man City, ended up coming up short in a 3-2 big goals game. So what do you think about this one, George, with Chelsea traveling to Leeds and Chelsea without Moises Caicedo now, one of their biggest players?
Yeah, one of their most physical players. We saw both of these teams actually in the games you mentioned, Leeds versus Man City and Chelsea versus Arsenal, play very physical, high octane style match. And credit to Chelsea doing it with 10 men for the majority of the match. Because of that, I think this could be a really interesting matchup here, Dev. This Leeds team at home actually have some really good underlying data. They don't show fear to anyone. And by the way, I didn't really know this until today, actually, that this is actually a fierce rivalry game. You wouldn't have thought so, right? Because they're nowhere close to each other. Leeds have been exiled from the Prem for so long, but this dates back all the way to the 60s and 70s, going back to a lot of cup matches that were hotly contested. Something funny, this from Wikipedia, talking about the 1970 FA Cup final between Chelsea and Leeds, which is widely regarded as one of the most physical matches in English football history. Love to hear that.
Get in.
Yeah, of course, we know Leeds went down out of the Prem in 2004, and the teams only met once in the following 16 years. But since Leeds have been back, we've seen some pretty entertaining matches between the two sides. And I think we might get something similar here, Dev. I like the fact that Caicedo's out for this. Makes that midfield. I think Reece James will probably play in the midfield again with Enzo further back, and maybe Cole Palmer gets his start in the 10. I wouldn't be surprised to see that being the midfield setup. But either way, I think Leeds at home, they're going to go for this. They'll take confidence from what they just did to Man City. And because of that, Dev, I like to look no further than both teams to score yes, minus 125. Bring in the 1-1 if it is kind of a feisty rivalry game. I wanted to have that on side as well. So just both teams to score yes, don't complicate it. Minus 125.
Right on, George. Well, if it is a 1-1 like you're predicting, what's to say there's not a third goal? Right? We got to get that 2.5 in there as well. It's going to pump that up to plus 120. That's where I'm going. I'm putting the old classic together, George. Both teams to score yes, over 2.5 goals. You mentioned Caicedo being out. That's like a green light. Teams can run through the midfield against him. Reece James, much better, I think, at right back than he is in the midfield. I think that's more his natural position. So if he is deputized into one of those holding roles, I do think this will just be a basketball match end to end. We know what Chelsea have going forward. They'll get a couple of goals in this. They have so much talent up front. Hopefully they just don't get another guy sent off. I mean, how many times this season? I see you yawning there, Jordan. Am I boring you?
No, I just didn't get much sleep, bud. Sorry. It's not you. It's me.
I'm joking. But how many times have we seen red cards in Chelsea games? I mean, they got to keep it together for this one.
Yeah, you hope so. I was going to pull up that exact stat. I think it's 6 straight reds in the Prem.
Crazy number. I mean, on a different day, if anybody watched the Copa Libertadores final on the weekend, there was a horrific challenge, just completely
there he is.
Just completely spiked a guy's shin, and he didn't get sent off. So Moises was just remembering what it was like to play in South America, and he can get away with stuff like that. It wasn't such a big deal.
7 red cards in all comps this season as of early December 2025, which is today.
Yeah, wild. So hopefully this doesn't evolve into that. I'd rather see it basketball game up and down, lots of goals, than something that ends up just a rock fight, which we could see between these two. Jord, let's move on. We've got just 2 more EPL matches for you guys, and this one is going to be Liverpool against Sunderland. This one sees Liverpool as home favorites at Anfield of 1.5 goals, -1.5. The total is set at a flat 3. Jord, both teams to score yes, -125. Bookies think it could happen, but it's still a gamble. So what do you think about this matchup, Jord? Liverpool finally getting a win together. Isak finally scores a goal. It was a nice goal, by the way. And the Sunderland side, boy, they are tricky for teams. They came back after being down 2 goals to get a victory. And this team is, they've come out of nowhere, Jord. They've been the surprise of the season, I think, for everybody. But what do you think about this matchup now with the Black Cats traveling up to the Reds?
Yeah, Dev. If you're a Liverpool team who's lost 9 of your last 12 games and you have a striker who hasn't scored for you yet in the Prem, come to the London Stadium. Play West Ham United. It'll sort you out. And that's what happened. We saw a toothless game from West Ham, and Liverpool finally getting 3 points on the board. Maybe they take a little confidence from that, even though they didn't play well. I'm here to tell you, I watched that match, Dev. They were not a vintage Liverpool team. They looked bad. It's just that West Ham were that much more shit than they were on the day and lost the game. So this Sunderland team, though, they've got a bit about them, right, Dev? This is a team that will put in a good performance, will get up for this, will smell blood with this Liverpool team, and know that regardless of the win they just got, they're vulnerable and you can get at them. I really wish this were at Sunderland.
Same.
But then again, we'd probably be getting a +1 on the handicap and not a +1.5. I still think that's too big. We've seen Liverpool at Anfield ship 7 goals in their last 2 matches there at home. So I don't think this Sunderland team is going to have any qualms with trying to go head-to-head with them and maybe get something from this match. I think they can. I certainly think they can cover that handicap. We saw them get a draw with Arsenal. Again, that was at home. But boy, were they good in that match. And that Arsenal team is leagues beyond where Liverpool are right now. So I think the handicap's too big. I just think it's too much. We haven't seen the Anfield effect in a long time, so it doesn't scare me here. I'm taking Sunderland +1.5 Asian handicap -118. That's too much.
Oh, Jord, I got terrible news, buddy.
What's that, Dev?
I'm taking the same play.
Oh, boy. We haven't been doing well with that.
Every time we saw this. No, we do not. Last weekend, we each had 2 of the same plays, lost 4 units on it. And then I think the Champions League was the same deal. So when we see eye to eye, it has not gone well for us. So be warned. Sunderland +1.5 goals. It's just too much. This team is 6th right now in the table, ahead of Liverpool, in fact. Is that accurate? They are. Yes, 1 point ahead of Liverpool. You're just giving me a 1.5 goals for this team that's been quite good, quite difficult to break down, though maybe a bit lucky. My fear about fading Liverpool, especially at Anfield, is that one of these games they're going to put up like 6 goals. It's just like one of them, everything's going to go in, right? They missed so much in their last game against West Ham. Could have had even more. West Ham could have had their chances as well, to be fair. But you just worry that like Isak gets on the score sheet. Does he start rounding into form? Those are my worries. I don't really think Sunderland can win the game. But you're giving me 2 of the 3 outcomes plus an additional game state outcome of losing by only 1 goal. It's too big of value in the Premier League. You can see where it's priced if you're looking at the screen here, +1.5 for Sunderland is minus 118. So this may drop down to 1.25 on the Asian handicap by kickoff. We'll see where the money does come in. But yeah, Jordan, we're riding together. 2-unit play. Here we go.
Yeah, it's funny, Dev. Our old format of the show used to be all of our plays were plays we agreed on. And we had all kinds of winners, right? Our first few seasons, big winning seasons for us. And yet now, whenever we agree on something, it's a dead loser. So perk your ears up at that, listeners. Take Liverpool minus 1.5 here.
Yeah, it's at even money, your favorite price. Well, Jordan, we got one more EPL match for you guys before we move into the midweek La Liga games. And if you guys are watching along with us, please jump in the chat and tell us what you think about some of these matchups. What will you be betting? Because it's going to be fun. We got this whole midweek. We're in December. It's nice and cool outside. It's getting cozy. We got games on all day. Gambling everywhere. It's fun. George, let's move on because this one will be near and dear to your heart. It's Manchester United against West Ham United. It's Manchester United, home favorites here of a goal and a quarter, minus 1.25. West Ham coming to town. West Ham to score twice, plus 250. And the total is set at a flat 3. George, both teams to score, yes, at minus 150. Can the Hammers get on the board? We had them get on the board. We bet them to get on the board against Liverpool, and they came up short. Now they're on the road at Old Trafford. What do you think about this matchup?
Sorry, Deb, we're having some technical difficulties over here. Yeah, listen, this match is near and dear to my heart. Look, West Ham didn't do well over the weekend. Really disappointing stuff, especially after the news that club legend Billy Bonds had passed away. Thought there would be some kind of spirited response from the team. Not at all. However, going into that match, they had scored 8 goals in their last 3 games. So, you know, I think the goal scoring form is back. I think they can get on the score sheet to answer your question. Obviously, the market thinks it's pretty likely as well. We talked about it on the last show with Man United, that they tend to concede in matches. Again, I took Crystal Palace in that one. They lost outright to Man U, but they did score. Man U did concede. So I think they are good to give up a goal here. But I do think that if West Ham scored, then the plus 1.25 on the handicap is too much. Too much to be given them. Full disclosure, we don't have a great record traveling to Old Trafford. But the other good thing about West Ham right now is that while they're dreadful at home, they have been much better on the road, and they seem to take more confidence going on the road. I think we've only got 1 win since February at the London Stadium. So all of the points are coming from away from home. So I think maybe they take a little more confidence from this one. They've been getting slammed in the media after that performance, especially on the death of Billy Bonds. So there's a lot of flack coming at the players. I think we get a little bit of a spirited reaction in this one. Lucas Paqueta sent off with a ridiculous red card, double yellows within like 60 seconds. Complete moron. People are furious with him. The fan base is furious with him. Teams getting pelters. I think they show up for this one. Man U's always one that's circled on the calendar. And I just think it's a little too much to be giving. Yes, Man U have improved. There's every chance they win this game. But plus 1.25 is too much when I think this West Ham team can score. I'm going to do it that way rather than take the both teams to score or any kind of West Ham team total.
Yeah, there's no chance I'm touching this one, buddy. And so I wish you the best of luck. Look, I was thinking about a goals play in this, taking an over. But once Paqueta is out, he's their best player. He's their most creative player.
Whoa.
And I just have a hard time seeing how they're going to be able to create through the middle of the park. I like Freddie Potts. This Mateus Fernandez looked really good, I thought, against Liverpool. But missing that the number 10 is tough for me, Jordan. Although on the other side of this, it looks like United are going to be without Mateus Cunha as well as Benjamin Šeško. Both are out for this one. So Could this end up being like an unders match? We know Nuno's lurking in the back wanting unders. He's just craving more unders.
That goalkeeper's blood.
Yeah.
He wants the under.
And yeah, Jordan, I mean, Paqueta, is he ever beating the charges? 2 weird yellows back to back. He was suspended for or investigated for 2 years for getting strange yellow cards.
He's off
Guy loves
scot-free.
getting yellows.
Double jeopardy. Can't try him again. He's good.
Yeah, fooled me once, can't get fooled again. Well, the chat's waking up a little bit, Jordan. We've got Jackson. You guys are taking the same plays. What did you learn when you were together? Where's the sibling rivalry? Well, look, we
did
come up with the plays on our own.
Yeah. Ended up doing it anyway.
Jacqueline in the chat says, West Ham, baby. Well, I wish you luck, Jordan. I wish you and the West Ham luck. We are now going to move on to La Liga, where we have 2 games. There's also Copa del Rey. There's DFB Pokal, the German Cup. There's the French League Cup. There is all kinds of cup competitions. Copa Italia are all going on. So it's a good time to tell you guys, if you are listening, jump in the Discord, where we'll have plenty of degenerates in there giving their plays, giving their thoughts. I'm sure on cup games as well. We're staying away because they're tricky.
Yeah,
but George, let's
early
take
on,
a look at this one. Probably the big clash of the week. It is Barcelona against Atletico Madrid. This one sees Barcelona as home favorites of 3/4 of a goal, minus 0.75. The total is set at 3.5. Jordan, Atletico Madrid sitting fourth in the table. Barcelona on top at the moment, and they have been unbeaten in 2 games since they got back to the Camp Nou. And now they got to host their biggest test yet. It's Atletico Madrid. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, Dev, I didn't know what to do with this one. I spent a while looking at it, trying to figure out the right angle here. It feels like the market just wants you to take Atleti getting that 3/4 of a goal, but Barcelona's just such a problem with their attack, and they just tend to get the better of Atleti. They're at home. As you say, they've been good since the return to the Camp Nou. The first thing I wanted to do when I saw this was, okay, give me the offside number for Atletico Madrid, because, Giuliano is going to be running the channels, racing in behind, and we're going to get at least like 6 offsides for Atletico. But I'm devastated to report that the Arizona books have taken away offsides markets from La Liga matches. You could still get them in the Prem ones. My thinking is that they took it away because they were getting cooked on Barca games within the last couple of weeks. It's hit in like their last 3 straight matches in all comps. And I think they pulled it for that reason. But instead of being like, no, we didn't just take it away from Barcelona, they pulled it from all of La Liga. So once I saw that, I said, I'm staying away from this. Fuck them. What do you got?
Yeah, I guess you can't play the offsides, can't play anything. Jordan, I'm got to figure out a way to get goals here. I'm not looking at a side. Barcelona have been weak against better opponents. They got absolutely cooked by Chelsea in the Champions League. Didn't even show up for that game. They play the suicidal high line, as you mentioned. And Atletico, they've got the speed to get in behind. You could look at Julian Alvarez, anytime goal scorer, plus 145. I looked at that for a while. You mentioned Giovanni Simeone, Diego's son. He's got tons of pace. Could see him getting in behind this high line. I think that Simeone's going to have something for him here. And I think this game, I worry that it could devolve into like a stalemate kind of thing and ends up flying under. I looked at maybe zagging and taking that under. It's just not my style, Jordan. I can't take an under in a Barcelona game, would be insane. So I'm going to go with a value play here. I'm going to take Atletico Madrid to score twice, team total, over 1.5 at plus 120. Plus 120 to score twice. Look, it's hard for any team to score twice on the road. But the way Barcelona play, I don't think they care if they give up 2 goals because they think they're going to score 4. So I could absolutely see Atletico getting a couple here. I'm hoping this is a really fun, exciting match, and it's not something that gets bogged down with like cards and just old school Simeone ball by Atletico Madrid. So team total, Jordan, over 1.5 plus 120.
I like it, Dev. I wish you luck.
We've got the other biggest team in La Liga, sitting second in the table, it's Real Madrid traveling to Athletic Club Bilbao. Bilbao in this one, home dogs of 3/4 of a goal plus 0.75. The total is set at 2.75. Jord, Club Bilbao, both teams to score, yes, minus 150. Real Madrid failing to get 3 points on the weekend. I just can't get a hold of this team. I don't understand a lot of what Xabi Alonso is doing. And now he's got to travel to Bilbao. Tough place to go. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, Dev, yeah, I take your point. Real Madrid have looked a little lethargic, a little disinterested, maybe you could say lately. But look, the sky is not falling. They're still right up there in the league. I think they have 33 points from like 13 games played. It's a good return. But the Girona match, the 1-1 in a game they really should have been picking up 3 points. I mentioned West Ham get in trouble in the media. Real Madrid have been getting pelters as well since they were not able to get anything more than a draw from Girona. So I think this is a bounce back one here. I mean, tough to go on the road, back-to-back games, but this Bilbao team, this is kind of, for me, going to be more of a Bilbao fade than it is anything rah-rah Real Madrid. Bilbao have been poor. They're just in a bad way. They're not creating. They're not scoring enough goals. And it's Real Madrid team needing a bounce back, needing to get something from this. I wish I wasn't so into favorites on the road this week, but I can't look past that money line price. You kidding me? Minus 125 to win the game after you didn't win a game on the weekend. They should be picking up the 3 points here. This Bilbao team are there for the taking right now. I think we get a spirited reaction, and I'm looking forward to cashing the money line on the Real Madrid.
Yeah, I think that's probably a wise play, Jordan. I ended up staying away. We've seen under 2.5 goals, 7 of the last 8 meetings head-to-head between these two. Something fishy about it, I will say. Bilbao having some tough injury concerns at the moment. Wian Sanset is suspended after a red card. Iñaki Williams is out. Emerick Laporte is out, injured. So they're going to have a makeshift backline here, and that could be a lot of trouble when you're going against Kylian Mbappe. So I wish you luck, Jordan. I stayed off it, but we've each got one La Liga play, so we'll see how that goes for us.
Yeah, thank God we don't both have 2 La Liga plays. That would have been a recipe for disaster.
Well, Jord, this has been fun. We've covered all the games we're going to cover. Thank you guys so much for staying with us. But before we get out of here, there's something we got to do.
We do indeed, Dev, because it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Let's throw up the official plays on the screen. For those of you watching, we'll read them out on the podcast. I've got Manchester City on the money line, parlayed with over 2.5 goals in the match. It's plus 125. Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur, both teams to score, and over 2.5 goals at plus 105. Nottingham Forest on the money line, plus 125. Leeds United against Chelsea, both teams to score, and over 2.5 goals at plus 120. Sunderland traveling to Anfield, plus 1.5 goals on the Asian handicap, minus 118. Come on, Granit Xhaka, just lose by 1. Atletico Madrid in La Liga, team total over 1.5 at plus 120. I've got almost all plus money here, Jord, except for Sunderland. What could go wrong?
I was just going to say, Deb, you're dripping in plus money, but hey, as you know, as we've proven before, sometimes you can even go, 3 and 4 on your picks or something, but if you hit the right ones, you can still turn a profit. So plus money is your friend. I've got plenty of plays on the board here. I've got Fulham and Man City, both teams to score, and over 2.5. A little more sheepish than your play, but we're basically in sync there, and that's coming in at plus 105. I've got Phil Foden, young Phil, to score or assist at plus 145. I think that's too big for the form he's in. In Brighton, hosting Aston Villa, I'm just taking the over 2.5, baby. Love seeing that line. Minus 110. Leeds, Chelsea, both teams to score, yes. Minus 125. Same play as you with Sunderland, the Black Cats, baby, plus 1.5 goals on the Asian handicap at minus 118. My terrible team, West Ham United, plus 1.25 on the Asian handicap, traveling to the Theater of Dreams, coming in at minus 115. Callum Wilson of West Ham United. I forgot to mention this when we capped the game. I'm taking him to have one or more shots on target, coming in at minus 103. And finally, Real Madrid on the money line. Don't complicate it. I think they bounce back, pick up 3 points on their travels to Bilbao.
Nice, Jordan. Well, that's going to do it for us. If you guys made it this far, we really appreciate you. Please consider giving us a like, a follow, a subscribe on whatever platform you're on. If you leave us a 5-star review, we'll read it out loud on the show. You can make us say weird stuff if you want to. Join our Discord. The link is in the description of this episode. And as always, just gamble responsibly. Soccer betting is hard, as we've found out in the past couple of weeks, Jordan. But before we get out of here, any last words for the people?
No, you're right, Dev. Always gamble responsibly. Be safe with your money. Protect that bankroll because, as Dev mentioned at the top of the show, these games are coming thick and fast now. Like Pep says, this is the business part of the season. This part of the season, the festive period, if you will, December into January, can really make or break your entire season in terms of bankroll and whatnot. We're down some units for the season so far. We can totally turn that around in December alone. So let's hope that that's the case because we can also make our record unrecoverable for the rest of the season. So we'll see how it shakes out. We're trying to be positive with this one. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, spreading the word, doing all the stuff. We appreciate you. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.